here we are at the concluding chapter of the book. A very interesting play, The Proposal, by a Russian playwright, Anton Chekhov. Let's check it out. It's really interesting and really fun. So let's go with the flow. And first, let's know about him. Anton Pavlovich Chekhov was a Russian playwright and short story writer who is considered to be among the greatest writers of short fiction in history. His career as a playwright produced 4 classics, and his best short stories are held in high esteem by writers and critics. So yes, he was a pretty well-known writer. He was known by most of them. Now, what does this play consist of? What is it all about? The play is about the tendency of wealthy families to seek ties with other wealthy families to increase their estates by encouraging marriages that make good economic sense. So in short, one rich family getting connected to another rich family through the course of marriage. Ivan Lomov, a long-time wealthy neighbor of Stepan Chubukov, also wealthy, comes to seek the hand of Chubukov's 25-year-old daughter, Natalia. All 3 are quarrelsome people. All these are quarrelsome. And they quarrel over petty issues. Over small things, they keep quarreling. The proposal is in danger of being forgotten amidst all this quarreling. Now, the way they keep quarreling, that they literally forget that there was a proposal and things have to work out accordingly, but they get so lost in the quarrels that it literally, is in danger. Still, they remember the marriage proposal which will bestow monetary gains and finalize the wedding amidst the fighting. Now they know they cannot afford to forget the proposal because of the monetary gains. They will also become way richer. That's the reason they finally finalize the wedding amidst, even in the middle of the fighting, they land up finalizing it. So let's see how interesting this play is and let's get on it. So who are the characters we have? We have Stepan Spenovich Chubukov, he's the landowner. Natalia Spenovna, his daughter, 25 years old, and Ivan Vasilovich Lomov, a neighbor of Chubukov, a large and hearty but very suspicious landowner. So you see, they both are landowners, they are neighbors, and here you have Stepan's daughter, who's Natalia, and the proposal is gone for her. So let's see what's in store. Let's go through the quarrels and how interesting they can get. Now this is the scene. A drawing room in Chubukov's house. Lomov enters wearing a dress jacket and white gloves. Chubukov rises to meet him out of respect. The curtain rises in Chubukov's drawing room where Lomov enters fully dressed up in his evening attire. Chubukov stands up to greet him. Now that's the scene. Let's go on. Chubukov, my dear fellow, whom do I see? Ivan Vasilovich, I am extremely glad. Now, this is a surprise, my darling. How are you? Lomov, thank you. And how may you be going on? How are you getting on? Chubukov, we just get along somehow, my angel, thanks to your prayers and so on. Sit down, please do. Now you know you shouldn't forget all about your neighbors. My darling, my dear fellow, why are you so formal in your get-up? Evening dress, gloves, and so on. Can you be going anywhere, my treasure? Wow. Now look at all the love and the respect Chubukov is going on pouring. My treasure, my angel, my darling. And he's telling him, oh, how come you're dressed so formally? Are you going somewhere? Lomov, no, I've come only to see you. Honored Stepan Spenovich. Chubukov, then why are you in the evening dress, my precious? Oh my God, look at the words full of love. As if you are paying a New Year's Eve visit. He's saying, then why are you dressed if you've come only to see me? Is it a New Year's Eve visit or something? Are we partying? Is it for that you are here, my precious? Lomov, Well, you see, it's like this. I've come to see you, honored Stephen Spenovich, to trouble you with a request. Not once or twice have I already had the privilege of applying to you for help, and you have always, so to speak, I must ask your pardon. I am getting excited. I shall drink some water. Honored Stephen Spenovich. He's like, oh, I have already approached, I've had the privilege, but he's so excited that he just needs some water. So he takes a pause and he goes for water. As in, he drinks some water. Chubukov, he's come to borrow money. Shan't give him any. What is it, my beauty? Now, this is what he's thinking in his mind. He's saying, I think he's come to borrow money. I'm not going to give him any. And then out of, the honey-coated knife that we say, what is it, my beauty? Oh, look at the love pouring. Lomov, you see, honored Spenovich, I beg pardon. So he makes a mistake because he's nervous. I beg pardon, Stepan Honorich. I'm awfully excited. Now, he's not even getting his name correct. As you will please notice, in short, you alone can help me. Though I don't deserve it, of course, and haven't any right to count on your assistance. Now, he is going round and round the bush before he can actually make the request why he has come there. Chubukov, oh, don't go round and round it, darling. Spit it out. Well, he says, go on, tell me, what do you want? Lomov, one moment. This very minute. The fact is, I've come to ask the hand of your daughter, Natalia Spenovna, in marriage. Finally, he spits it out. He tells it out. Okay, the reason for me coming to you is that I have brought a proposal for your daughter. I have come to ask your daughter's hand in marriage. Chubukov, joyfully, by Jove! Ivan Vasilovich, say it again. I didn't hear it all. He's so excited. He's so happy. He's saying, seriously, say it louder again. I did not hear it. Lomov, I have the honor to ask, and before he can say something, Chubukov interrupts him. My dear fellow, I'm so glad, and so on. Yes, indeed, and all that sort of thing. Embraces and kisses Lomov. I've been hoping for it for a long time. He says, I also wanted the same. It's been my continual desire. He sheds a tear. He's saying, even I was actually wishing the same. And I've always loved you, my angel, as if you were my own son. He says, I am really in love with you. May God give you both His help and His love, and so on, and so much hope. He's, out of love, out of happiness, he's going on giving him blessings. What am I behaving in this idiotic way for? You see, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I'm off my balance with joy. He was so overwhelmed with it at that point of time. He was so extremely happy that he did not know what he was talking. And absolutely off my balance. I have lost it. I'm so excited. Oh, with all my soul, I'll go and call Natasha and all that. He says, oh, just wait here. Let me go and call Natasha. Lomov, greatly moved, he was like, wow, this is so unexpected. Honored Stepan Spenovich, do you think I may count on her consent? You think she will say yes? I hope she says yes. Chubukov, why, of course, my darling, and if she won't consent, she's in love. Egad, she's like a lovesick cat, and so on. Shan't be long. He says, don't worry, of course, she's my darling, and she won't consent. Consent as in she won't give permission. She's in love. Egad, as in expressing surprise, anger, or affirmation. She's like a lovesick cat, and so on. Shan't be long. I'm sure she will definitely be ready for this. She will definitely say yes. Lomov, it's cold. I'm trembling all over. Just as if I've got an examination before me. He says, oh my God, I have come with a proposal, but I just wonder whether she is going to say yes. The great thing is, I must have my mind made up. It's like, okay, I need to understand, I need to take whatever she says. If I give myself time to think, to hesitate, to talk a lot, to look for an ideal of a real love, then I'll never get married. He says, you know what? If I actually sit and think it over, if I calculate, if I do things like that, I will never get married. So just let me be fine. Brr, it's cold. He finds it very cold. Natalia Spenovna is an excellent housekeeper. Not bad looking, well educated. What more do I want? She's an excellent housekeeper. Now, this is what they look at. First, they want someone who can maintain their house. So, basically, when females, when they are asked that what do you do as profession? Now, some don't work. Some, those who are not working, they say, we are homemakers. They actually make a home, and their job is 24 into 7 into 365, which is way, way more than those who are actually working probably a 10 to 6 job. They are working way more harder, and moreover, they get nothing in return. Remember that if you're talking of monetary benefits, and they do everything so unconditionally and selflessly. So this is what he's aiming at. He says she's an excellent housekeeper, she's not bad looking, and she's well educated. So I shouldn't have any problem. What more do I want? But I'm getting a noise in my ears from excitement. He's like, oh my God, I just hope she says yes. And it's impossible for me not to marry. In the first place, I'm already 35, a critical age, so to speak. He says, by this time, I should have got married. In the second place, I ought to lead a quiet and regular life. He says, I don't want that hush-push thing. I'm through all that. Now I'm 35. So I want to lead a nice, peaceful life. I suffer from palpitations. Now he has one issue. He suffers from feelings of having a fast beating, fluttering or a pounding heart. So, when you're nervous, when you're excited, even when it's happiness, your heart starts pounding really hard, really fast. You start sweating. Those are called palpitations. So he has that issue. I'm excitable and always getting awfully upset. At this very moment, my lips are trembling, they're shivering, they're shaking. And there's a twitch in my right eyebrow. The eyebrow goes up. There's a twitch in my right eyebrow. Now he is excited, he's nervous, he doesn't know whether she will come and agree to the proposal. So he is really super nervous, and that's the reason he's going through the palpitations. But the very worst of all is the way I sleep. Now here, he is bringing all his issues, the issues that he has, that he possesses. So, he's telling them all now, in spite of all these things, if she agrees to marry him, then it's an achievement. So, the worst part of all is the way I sleep. I no sooner get into bed and begin to go off, when suddenly something in my left side gives a pull. So, the moment I sleep, I'm about to sleep, on my left side, I get a pull, and I can feel it in my shoulder and head. I can feel that pull in that. And I jump up like a lunatic as in a mentally sick person. So he has these issues. Walk about a bit and lie down again. But as soon as I begin to get off to sleep, there's another pull. And this may happen 20 times. Now, I'm sure no girl would want to get married to this person, because of, now if you get a question based on, what are the issues that this guy has, you should be writing all these things, right? So he gets that pull, and not once, not twice. Every time he gets a pull, he starts walking, goes back to bed, again he gets a pull, again he walks. Now this thing goes on for repeatedly 20 times. Natalia, well, there, it's you. And Papa said, go, there's a merchant come for his goods. How do you do, Ivan Vasilovich? Now Natalia has come out. The father has gone in and sent his daughter out, and she's coming in. What does she tell him? She says, the father had told her, go, there is a merchant come for his goods. Oh, is it? How do you do, Ivan Vasilevich? He says, oh, that's the reason you are here. How do you do? How do you do, honored Natalia Spenovna? Natalia, you must excuse my apron and neglige. Apron, you know, the thing that we wear while we are cooking, that's called an apron, right? Front of one's clothes and tied at the back. That's the apron. And neglige. Neglige is what? It is a form of see-through clothing for women consisting of a sheer, usually long dressing gown. So please forgive me for what I have worn right now. We are shelling peas for drying. Shelling as in you remove the shell or pod from a nut or seed. So they were peeling the peas for drying. Why haven't you been here for such a long time? Sit down. They seat themselves. Won't you have some lunch? Now she's just come, she was in between some work. She just comes out and she says, look, excuse me for the way I am because I have been busy, shelling peas for drying it. But you have been you've been lost for so much time. Where have you been? Why don't you have some lunch? No, thank you. I've had some already. Says, don't worry, I've taken my lunch. Then smoke. Here are the matches. The weather is splendid now. But yesterday, it was so wet that the workmen didn't do anything all day. He says, today the weather is splendid, but yesterday it wasn't possible for working. How much hay have you stacked? She's asking him. Just think, I felt greedy and had a whole field cut, and now I'm not at all pleased about it because I'm afraid my hay may rot. She's asking him, how much hay have you stacked? How much dry hay have you stacked? She said, I became a little greedy. What I did was I, got the whole field taken. I took the hay from the whole field and I got it cut. But now I'm feeling bad about it. Why? Because I have taken it in excess. So I'm sure it might get rotten. It might rot. I ought to have waited a bit. I shouldn't have. But what's this? Why you are in evening now? Suddenly when after talking so much he realizes, oh, but why are you in an evening dress? Well, I never. Are you going to a ball or what? Though I must say you look better. Tell me, why are you got up like that? He says, are you going for a ball dance or something? I don't understand. So if you could please tell me, why are you dressed like that? Lomov, excited. You see, honored Natalia Spenovna, the fact is, I've made up my mind to ask you to hear me out. Says, look, I need to tell you something and I want you to listen to me. Of course, you'll be surprised and perhaps even angry, but it's awfully cold. Says, you might be excited, happy, at the same time you might be angry too. But right now it's really cold. What's the matter, Well? She says, what is it? You can speak up. I shall try to be brief. I'll tell you to the point. You must know, honored Natalia Spenovna, that I have long, since my childhood in fact, had the privilege of knowing your family. I know your family very well since childhood. My late aunt as in the aunt who has passed away, no longer there. So late aunt and her husband, from whom, as you know, I inherited my land. From them I got this land. Always had the greatest respect for your father and your late mother. So that those people, my uncle and my aunt, who no longer exist, I got this land from them. And these people had great respect for your dad and your late mother. Again, late mother means mother is no longer there. The Lomovs and the Chubakovs have always had the most friendly, and I might almost say the most affectionate regard for each other. Since both the families, the Lomovs and the Chubakovs, they've always had great affection for each other, great love, great regard for each other. And as you know, my land is a near neighbor of yours, since my land is close to your land. You will remember that my oxen meadows touch your birch woods. He says, if you remember, they have their names. My oxen meadows, that's the name, touch your birch woods. Now, these are how the birch woods are. So, my meadows are just close to yours. Natalia, Excuse my interrupting you. You say my oxen meadows, but are they yours? She stops him while he was talking about his oxen meadows. She says, did you say my oxen meadows? Do you think they are yours? Lomov, of course they are mine. Yes, they are mine. Natalia, what are you talking about? Oxen meadows are ours, not yours. Say that those oxen meadows belong to us, not you. No, mine, honored Natalia Spenovna. This is no, they are mine. Well, I never knew that before. How do you make that out? Says, I was under the impression that they are ours. How can you say it's yours? How? I'm speaking of those, oxen meadows which are wedged in between your birch woods and the burnt mash. Now, these are the names of the land, the property there. And he says they are wedged, they have those fence, like they're wedged in between your birch woods and the burnt mash. Yes, they are ours. No, you're mistaken, honored Natalia Spenovna. They are mine. Now here goes the quarrel. Just think, Ivan Vassilevich, how long have they been yours? She says, okay, now let's talk of it. Since how long are they yours? How long? As long as I can remember. He's saying it's not from now, it's since the beginning, from the time I know they are mine. Really? You won't get me to believe that. She's saying, you think I'm going to believe what you are saying? Now here they've shot up with the quarrel and let's see where they land up. But you can see from the documents, honored Natalia Spenovna, oxen meadows, it's true, were once the subject of dispute. They were definitely, there was a disagreement over it, there was an argument over it, that who it belongs to. It was once upon a time. But now everybody knows that they are mine. There was a dispute, but finally it was declared as mine. There's nothing to argue about. You see, my aunt's grandmother gave the free use of these meadows in perpetuity to the peasants of your father's grandfather, in return for which they were to make bricks for her. Says, look how the history went for it. You see, my aunt's grandmother, wow, now that's way long back, gave the free use of these meadows in perpetuity. Now, what do you mean by that? The state or quality of lasting forever. So, it was given to be used forever to the peasants of your father's grandfather. Wow. In return for which, to make bricks for her. They were supposed to make bricks for her and she let them use it. The peasants belonging to your father's grandfather had the free use of the meadows for 40 years and had got into the habit of regarding them as their own when it happened that. Now he's trying to explain to her that how it actually was and how it is actually mine now. And before he could continue, she stops him. She says, no, it isn't at all like that. That's not the way you're talking. Both grandfather and great-grandfather reckoned that their land extended to burnt marsh. Reckoned as in they consider or regard in a specified way. She says no. Both of them, they had reckoned, they had specified that their land extends right up to burnt mash, which means that oxen meadows were ours. So now, here is the quarrel. Now, whose land does actually oxen meadows belong to? I don't see what there is to argue about. It's simply silly. She says, I don't even understand. Why are you arguing? I'm giving you a very clear-cut story. This is the picture and this belongs to us. Now, whether it belongs to her or him is going to be continued and we shall know it in the next module. So stay tuned.